Something just happened in Formula One, and most people completely missed it. Not a crash, not a race result, not even a dramatic overtake. But what the FIA just revealed, it might quietly change the entire future of the sport.
I didn't win a race, didn't win a championship, but we'll have a legacy forever in Formula One. You know, I'm the man that walked out of...
Because this isn't just another rule update. This is the kind of decision that teams like Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull build entire seasons around. And if you've been watching F1 for a while, you already know. When the FIA steps in like this, it's never small.
All right, so here's where things get interesting. It all started with something that, on the surface, didn't look that dramatic. No massive crash, no red flag chaos, just a moment. But in Formula One, sometimes the smallest details matter the most. Think of it like this. F1 isn't just a race. It's a giant chess match happening at 300 kilometers per hour. And this move, it caught the FIA's attention immediately. Teams were pushing the limits, as they always do, because that's what F1 is built on, finding the edge and then going just a little bit past it. But this time, that edge might have been crossed. And that's when the FIA stepped in. Not publicly at first, not dramatically, just quietly investigating. And that's where things start to get serious. Because when the FIA starts asking questions, it usually means something bigger is coming. But here's the twist. What they found wasn't just a small issue. It pointed to something much bigger. So, what did they actually reveal? According to the FIA's findings, the situation wasn't just a one-off. It exposed a pattern, a loophole, something teams may have been using to gain an advantage without technically breaking the rules. And that's where things get messy. Because in F1, there's a huge difference between breaking the rules and bending them perfectly. Teams like Mercedes and Red Bull have built entire eras on understanding that difference. And now, the FIA is basically saying, we see what's happening, and we're stepping in. But they didn't just acknowledge it, they acted fast. New clarifications, new interpretations, and in some cases, outright changes. Which means one thing. Whatever advantage existed before, it might be gone. Just like that. And if you think that's not a big deal, think again. Because in Formula One, even a tiny technical change can completely flip the grid. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Not every team is affected equally. Now, this is the part nobody tells you right away. Whenever the FIA steps in like this, someone wins and someone loses. Big time. Let's start with the obvious question. Who was benefiting the most before this? If a team had found a clever way to gain speed, stability, or efficiency, that advantage might now be under threat. And historically, we've seen this play out before. Double diffusers, flexible wings, engine modes. Every time the FIA closes a loophole, the competitive order shifts, sometimes overnight. So if your favorite team suddenly looks slower next race, this might be why. And here's the scary part. Teams don't always have time to adapt. You can't just rebuild an F1 car mid-season. You're locked into decisions made months ago. Which means this FIA revelation, it's not just about fairness. It's about survival. But wait, there's another layer to this. Because this isn't just about today's races. It's about the future of Formula One itself. Here's the bigger picture. Formula One is heading into a new era. New regulations, new engines, new technologies. And every decision the FIA makes right now shapes that future. By stepping in like this, the FIA is sending a message. We're watching closely. And that changes how teams operate. Suddenly, engineers take fewer risks. Designers play it safer. Strategies become more conservative. And that might not sound dramatic, but it is. Because innovation is what makes F1 exciting. Take that away or limit it too much, and the sport changes. But at the same time, too much freedom leads to domination by one team, which we've seen before.
So the FIA is walking a very fine line. Balance competition without killing creativity. And this decision, it's a clear signal of where they stand. But here's the thing most fans don't realize. The real impact won't be obvious immediately. It'll show up slowly, over races, over months, in lap times, in qualifying gaps, in championship battles. And by the time everyone notices, it'll already be too late.
So, yeah, on the surface, this might look like just another FIA update, another technical clarification, another behind-the-scenes decision. But in reality, it's much bigger than that. Because moments like this, they don't just change rules. They change outcomes. They change championships. Sometimes, they change history. So next time you're watching a race and something feels different, a team is suddenly slower or another one jumps ahead, remember this moment, because this might be where it all started.
If you made it this far, you're clearly someone who gets F1 on a deeper level. So tell me, do you think the FIA is protecting the sport or controlling it too much? Drop your opinion in the comments. I read all of them. And if you want more breakdowns like this, where we go beyond the headlines and actually explain what's really happening, hit subscribe. Because trust me, this story, it's not over yet.